Hey guys, welcome back to another video. Today we're going to be talking about the new DJI RS3 Mini, and in today's video I want to talk to you guys about why I decided to pick up this gimbal. I'm coming from the RS3, which is the standard sized gimbal that they came out with about 7 months ago, and I wanted to see if this is something that I actually truly need or if I was just hyped about having a more compact design. Along with that, I also want to talk to you guys about connecting it to the app, balancing the camera, and we're going to talk about the payload, weight capacity that this can actually hold, being that it's such a small model for a gimbal. Does it have any compromise in usability? We'll also be able to do a quick little field test, whether it's good enough for vlogging or who would be the ideal candidate to upgrade to the DJI RS3 Mini. So before we get started, let's get to unboxing. I haven't been this excited for new gear in a long time, and when I saw that the DJI RS3 had come out, virtually ran to my nearest Best Buy because I just had to order it online. Okay, so first off we have our little quick start guide. So this is the bracket here that goes on the camera, a little mount. I don't actually know the technical terms of these things, guys, so just bear with me. USB-C ended plugs. USB-A to USB-C. This is the little attachment arm, basically the feet of the tripod. Really, really compact, as you can see, like, wow. The actual gimbal itself. It's really, really compact. I mean, I kind of expected that already, obviously, but even just by itself, it's very, very lightweight. Screw this part on. This is gonna be the whole setup. Feels really well built, you know, same quality as other DJI gimbals that they've had in the past. Looks like they've maintained pretty much everything outside, at least just from first glance. So I'm gonna put this on the table. So I'm actually gonna switch back to one camera then, so that way we can actually mount it onto the gimbal. So I have here our gimbal, and I have my Sony A7S3 with the 16 to 35 millimeter lens, f2.8. Obviously my goal is to get this mounted up. From what I remember before, I put the plate and the little key that goes underneath the camera. So I'm gonna do that real quick. Another thing that I noticed though on this plate, they have this little lip here so that it actually sits behind your camera so you know how far to push it. And so you're gonna want to screw this underneath your camera, and that lip should be tucked behind the camera itself. I'm gonna screw this on. So fun fact, this model, the axes don't actually auto lock. So we are back to the manual unlocking of everything, which is totally fine. So now all the axes are unlocked. I'm just going to now lock it in this position so that I can actually set the camera on top. We're gonna press on the safety lock and then slide it at the front. So let's see. Aha, there you go. And then I'm gonna lock this side lever here. Okay, so now I'm gonna start the balancing. All right, so I think I got it balanced as best as I could. So now I wanna get into integrating it to my app. So I'm just gonna hold the power button and it should turn on. So it's a DJI Ronin app. So I'm just gonna hit connect, and that should tell us that this is the one that it's detecting. So Mini 05L1 TD, and it says here password required. I didn't know there was a password. Oh, it was just, yeah, okay, it was right there. Okay, so we're gonna hit update. Unable to update gimbal or phone battery level too low. Oh, this is because of my phone. Okay, let me plug in my phone real quick. Okay, so should be able to agree and activate now. I'm gonna hit confirm on my actual DJI. Quick start guide, blah, blah, blah. Okay, well, oh, I totally forgot that you could actually balance it right on the app. So I'm gonna do a balance test. Tilt, then it should allow me to ensure the gimbal is held at an incline between 15 to 45. Oh, okay. So now it's at an incline of 15. There we go. Okay, so it likes that, so that's good. So after balancing, which I didn't go through all of them, but it looks like they're going to make us do auto tune, which is basically recalibrating everything, making sure that it knows that it's all supposed to be in this position. Okay, so that's pretty good. I'm gonna hit confirm, and then we're gonna hit next again. Gimbal overview. So we have the power button here to the right. We have the manual button to switch to different profiles. Camera control, obviously. The big red button is gonna be for record. And then of course we have the joystick. Trigger button at the front is what centers it. So if you tap it twice, it's just going to recenter your camera. And 3 times is going to enter selfie mode, which, oh, like turning it around to me. To exit from selfie mode, you just tap it twice. And then to enter into selfie mode, you tap it 3 times. All right, so now it's facing me. And there you go. Okay, next button combinations, hold M and trigger simultaneously to start auto tune. Okay, so if I do this, hold it for 3 seconds, and it's gonna automatically start calibrating again. Oh, that's pretty cool. We're actually gonna head out right now because I do want to do a quick field test with this thing. Our point is to see how really easy it is to use as just a handheld, and if it could be something that you could use for vlogging. So we're gonna go get ready to do that, and we'll see you guys outside.
Hey. Alright, so I actually used this RS3 Mini because I was filming Paula, and to be honest with you, that was like a pretty cool experience because we have the other gimbal and that was pretty heavy, and this one is super light, so that was super cool.
Alright, so just one more time for this at arm's length. Whew, it definitely adds a little strain to my shoulder. Okay.
Hey, it's honestly still better than the other one because you can't even do this with the other one.
Yeah, that's true. We should walk around. Actually, let's walk around first before we get teaspoon. Is that okay?
Yeah.
Okay, so this is walking, and I'm gonna switch arms because yeah, it's pretty heavy still, and I think it's more because of the balancing of the camera.
Well,
so,
your lens is also the heaviest lens out there.
I was gonna say, I feel like this is more because of the camera and not necessarily the gimbal. However, the gimbal being this light, it does help quite a bit.
So I think the perfect setup here is if you get those if you get a prime lens that's like a f1.8, like this, maybe the 20mm f1, if it even exists, right? Mm-hmm. The 20mm f1.4 G Master lens would be perfect with this.
That's true. Yeah, if it was a slightly smaller lens, definitely this wouldn't feel this awkward. Although this is not too bad. I just prefer to have a really wide shot. This is at max 16mm.
We just sold your PZ lens. You should have just kept it for this guy.
I know. If we had kept that and it was a shorter lens, that would have definitely worked a lot better. Are you ready for boba?
Let's do it.
Okay. back. We just made it back from our field test, vlog test. But before we wrap up today's video, I wanted to show you guys one more feature that would make shooting a lot easier, and that is linking it through Bluetooth, but we'll do that here in just a second. I wanted to make a quick comment on the vlog test. So a lot of people probably assume that because it's a lot more compact like this, it might just be good enough to vlog with. I would still probably use a tripod for that type of deal, but I would say in a pinch, if you are vlogging and you only had the gimbal with you, if you do have the RS3 Mini, this would be a good replacement for shorter term with the camera setup. Even though you may have just the minimalist things on here, especially not a really big long lens, then it might work. Over time, this does still add up with the weight, and because it swivels all around instead of just having a tripod be stable in one spot, it still definitely puts some strain into your shoulders and your arms. So I would imagine that over time this would still be uncomfortable versus a simple tripod. That is just my quick thought. Now let's head into the office and continue with our final thoughts. Okay, so I'm gonna start off with the back of my camera. So to start off, I'm gonna go into my menu settings and we're gonna scroll all the way down to the network section. And then after that, go into Bluetooth function. Mine's already on, so if yours is not on, just make sure to go in there and actually switch it on. And then I'm gonna go into pairing. And once you're at pairing, it's gonna tell you the device name, which is this one that we have right here. And then on the gimbal, I'm just gonna scroll, I believe, down. Yep. And once I've swiped down, I'm gonna hit this camera with a Bluetooth signal here. And then this tells me that we're gonna be enabling Bluetooth. So confirm, and then it should tell me what it's detecting. So right now it's seeing the ILCE, and that's the same as my camera. So I'm gonna hit that. My Sony is actually saying that it's detecting the RS3 Mini. So I'm gonna hit okay. And then that's already saying that that's okay. I'm gonna hit okay there also. Down back to my gimbal. It should also just let me know that it's confirmed. So I'm gonna hit confirm. And ideally, if I just hit record, it should start recording. And it did. Yay! All right, so let's take a look at what we've accomplished today with the RS3 Mini. The RS3 Mini definitely has a much more compact experience. For me, who is a huge fan of much smaller rigs, it has been a real treat. When the RS3 Mini came out just about a month ago, which literally flew under the radar for me if it wasn't for the fact that it was recommended to me on YouTube one day, I realized that this was actually even smaller than the previous version, so I decided to also try this out. The weight difference is actually a pretty good significance. It makes it just a lot more, I guess, portable to travel with. Now, with it being a smaller design, there are limitations. Right now, I have just a really small Sony mic, 16-35 f2.8 lens on my Sony A7S3, but I don't think that I would actually be able to add much else just because of the weight capacity that this can actually have. I also realized that there is a place to add extra attachments such as arms or even cages, just to add more stability to their shots, as well as just making it easier to hold. This one actually only has it on one side, so I would imagine that that actually gives somewhat of a limitation, because then you'd only be able to add it to one side as opposed to both. With the tripod still being detachable like they usually are, as you can see, it's much shorter. So if you are someone that maybe has, you know, bigger hands or something, this might actually be too small for some of you, but for someone with my frame, this is actually just perfect. In that sense, it's really more of a preference with the size. I would say if you're someone who is maybe starting out with gimbal work, wanting to do something more cinematic with your shots, this is definitely a good option to start with, just because I would assume that you also have smaller setups. Or if you're someone that wants to invest in a gimbal, but budget might be a factor, I believe this is the most inexpensive gimbal in the DJI line right now, other than the mobile options. This right now retails at about $369. This one did just come out about a month ago, and as DJI is generously always giving us new great things, this might be a good time to upgrade to maybe a used older model, or perhaps just go ahead and get into the mini series. But that is it for me today. Hopefully you guys found today's video helpful. I would be curious to see what you guys think of the new RS3 Mini, especially especially if you are someone who has worked with gimbals a lot before. Would this be worth picking up for you, or would you stick to a bigger design? Let me know what your guys' thoughts are down below, or perhaps you're someone that wants to maybe pick up the Mini yourself. I would love to hear your guys' thoughts. If you guys liked today's video, please don't forget to hit the thumbs up down below. It really helps the channel out. And if you enjoyed hanging out with us today, hopefully you consider subscribing. We do have a lot of really cool videos coming up for you guys, digging deeper into the tech and gear reviews. So I'm really excited to share those with you guys. And that is it for me today. I'll see you guys again in the next video.